Today we're taking a look at these NHL matches, which are happening on Saturday, April 22, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. Vegas Golden Knights vs Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets had a great first half of the season, but they weren't very good in the second half of the year, pretty much limping into the playoffs in the second wild card spot in the West with a 46-33-3 record. Although they won 5 of their last 7 games, they only won 11 of their last 25 games. The Jets have struggled offensively this season, scoring the 12th fewest goals in the NHL, an average of 3 goals per game, on an average of 30.3 shots per game. They've generated the 13th most expected goals, 3.24 per game, and the 16th most high-danger shots in the league. Winnipeg has scored on 19.3% of their power play chances, the 10th fewest in the NHL. They're led in scoring this season by Kyle Connor, 80 points, Mark Scheifele, 42 goals, and Josh Morrissey, 60 assists. The Golden Knights got this series back on track in Game 2, bouncing back from their Game 1 loss. Vegas is the better team in this matchup and I give them a huge edge offensively. I expect that to shine through the rest of this series after they had their dud of a game in Game 1 and continue to win. The Knights have scored the 14th most goals in the NHL, having generated the 16th most expected goals and the 10th most high-danger shots in the league. Meanwhile, Winnipeg has scored the 12th fewest goals in the NHL, having generated the 13th most expected goals and the 16th most high-danger shots in the league. Take the Knights to win on the road. I'm expecting the games between these teams to trend under, with 2 good defenses and the Jets really struggling offensively. Both teams have trended under on the season, with the under going 51-24-7 in Jets games and 42-35-5 in Knights games. The first game in this series was a push and the second went over, and I expect tonight's game to hit the under. The Golden Knights have allowed just the 11th fewest goals in the NHL, having given up the 5th fewest expected goals and the 6th fewest high-danger shots in the league. Winnipeg has been good defensively as well, allowing the 10th fewest goals in the NHL, having given up the 15th fewest expected goals and the 8th fewest high-danger shots in the league. The Jets have struggled offensively as well, having scored the 12th fewest goals in the NHL. Take the under 5.5 goals here. Toronto Maple Leafs vs Tampa Bay Lightning. The offense was very good for the Lightning this season. Tampa Bay ranked 8th in goals per game and 13th in shots per game. Nikita Kucherov led the team with 113 points. Kucherov ranked tied for 3rd in points and 2nd in assists among all players in the league. Brayden Point led the Lightning with 51 goals. Point was 5th in the league in goals. The offense was superb in Game 1 of the playoff series. They scored 7 goals in the first game to take a 1-0 series lead. However, in Game 2, the offense was not sharp and they only scored 2 goals in a loss. Goaltending was slightly above average, but the defense was slightly below average for the Lightning this season. They ranked 14th in goals against per game and 20th in shots against per game. Andrei Vasilevskiy had a record of 34-22-4 with a 2.65 GAA and .915 SV%. Vasilevskiy has not been very sharp in the first 2 games of this series. In a Game 1 victory, Vasilevskiy allowed 3 goals on 31 shots faced. In a Game 2 loss, he allowed a whopping 7 goals on 37 shots faced. The playoff series is even at 1-1, and now Games 3 and 4 will be in Tampa Bay. Each team won big in Games 1 and 2. The Lightning destroyed Toronto 7-3 in Game 1, and Toronto turned around and smashed Tampa Bay 7-2 in Game 2. Andrei Vasilevskiy has not been very sharp in the first 2 games of this series. In a Game 1 victory, Vasilevskiy allowed 3 goals on 31 shots faced. In a Game 2 loss, he allowed a whopping 7 goals on 37 shots faced. Ilya Samsonov struggled in Game 1 of the playoff series, allowing 6 goals on 29 shots faced, and he was pulled from the game. He was much better in Game 2, allowing 2 goals on 22 shots faced to help the Leafs even the series. Both goalies are better than what they showed in the first 2 playoff games. Vasilevskiy is a winner and has stepped up huge in big playoff moments. He will not continue to struggle and will turn it up in Game 3. Game 3 will be a much closer game than the first 2 games of the series. With Tampa Bay's playoff success and Toronto's lack of playoff success, look for Vasilevskiy to have a big Game 3 and help the Lightning take a 2-1 series lead. Tampa Bay will win Game 3 at home. Take Tampa Bay on the money line. The Leafs had a very good offense this season. They ranked 9th in goals per game and 12th in shots per game. The offense was very good for the Lightning this season. Tampa Bay ranked 8th in goals per game and 13th in shots per game. In last year's playoffs between these two teams, the over was 5-2. The over went 2-1 in the 3 meetings between these two teams during the regular season. This year's playoff series has seen each team score 7 goals in a game. The Lightning scored 7 goals in Game 1 and Toronto scored 7 goals in Game 2. The over hit in both playoff games this series. Expect both goalies to play better in Game 3, but the offense for both teams will still score. The Lightning and Maple Leafs matchups have been high scoring, and that will not change in Game 3. The over will hit in Game 3 of the playoff series. Take the over, 6 goals. New Jersey Devils vs Rangers. The New York Rangers went on a shocking run all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2022, and after adding Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko, their improvements are on display for all to see through 2 games, so they'll be looking to put the Devils away in their 2 games at home. In their past 17 games played at Madison Square Garden, the Rangers are 12-5, as well as being a dominant 15-7 in their past 22 games following a win, and with every phase of their game firing, they'll no doubt be full of confidence ahead of the Saturday matchup. Given the result of the first 2 games of the series thus far, it comes as no surprise that the Rangers have dominated this matchup in the past, and with home ice advantage and a 2-0 lead, the Devils will have to do something special to turn it around in this one. In their past 16 head-to-head meetings, the Rangers have come away with a 12-4 record, as well as being 5-1 in the past 6 games at Madison Square Garden, and with a raucous crowd expected and the veteran, proven winners, this should be another big Rangers win. While only the Rangers have had the offense working early in this series, it's the strength of both teams, with the over sitting at 30-14-10 in their past 54 meetings, as well as 10-1 in the past 13 meetings in New York, so expect both to come out with their best defense here. For the Devils, the over is 5-1-1 in their past 7 games played on the road, and for the Rangers, the over sits at 9-1-1 in their past 11 conference quarterfinals games, so no matter who wins a crucial Game 3, there should be plenty of big goal scoring opportunities. Keep it simple, take the over. Colorado Avalanche vs Seattle Kraken. After being horrible in their inaugural season last year, the Seattle Kraken improved immensely this season and had success while being very fun to watch. They finished the regular season comfortably in the first wild card spot in the Western Conference with a 46-28-8 record, 5 points ahead of the Jets and 4 points behind the Kings. Although they lost their last 2 games of the year in a home-and-home against Vegas, they won their 5 straight games prior. The Kraken have been very good offensively this season. They've scored the 5th most goals in the NHL, an average of 3.52 goals per game, on an average of 30.5 shots per game. They've generated the 10th fewest expected goals, 3.08 per game, and the 9th fewest high danger shots in the league. Seattle has scored on 19.8% of their power play chances, the 12th fewest in the NHL. They're led in scoring by Jared McCann, 70 points, 40 goals, and Vince Dunn, 64 points, 50 assists. Defensively, Seattle's been inconsistent and they've struggled at times. They've allowed an average of 3.07 goals per game, the 14th fewest in the NHL, on an average of 27 shots allowed per game. They've given up the 8th fewest expected goals, 2.92 per game, and the 10th fewest high danger shots. The Kraken have killed off 76.7% of their penalties. Philip Grubauer is projected to start in Game 1 against his former team. Despite this series being tied, the Avs have been the better team in both games. They outshot the Kraken 35-30 and outplayed them by an expected goal rate of 3.73-2.33, but couldn't get the win at home in Game 1, shocking a lot of people with a 3-1 Seattle win. In Game 2 on Thursday night, the Avalanche answered back with a much-needed 3-2 win at home to even the series, outshooting Seattle 41-29 and outplaying them by an expected goal rate of 3.65-2.39. I expect the experience and depth of Colorado to shine through here to give them their first lead of this series, with a win tonight to ruin the first ever playoff game in Seattle. Take Colorado to win on the road and take their first lead in the series. Our team pick is Avalanche money line. Both of the previous games in this series have hit the under, and I expect that trend to continue tonight in Game 3. All 3 regular season games between these teams stayed under, and both teams trended under in the regular season. The under went 43-34-5 in Avs games and 40-38-4 in Kraken games. Colorado has allowed just the 9th fewest goals in the NHL, having given up the 10th fewest expected goals and the 13th fewest high danger shots in the league. The Kraken, despite allowing the 14th fewest goals in the league, have given up just the 8th fewest expected goals and the 10th fewest high danger shots in the NHL. Take the under here.